All right, what's up, everybody? We're going to be doing an unpopular opinions reaction video. I asked you guys on my community tab on YouTube, Mjfangirl TV, what you guys thought, just unpopular opinions, okay, about the Michael Jackson discography, about the fan community, about certain moments in his career. So I wanted to react to some of those. And it's really interesting because as fans, we all come from, the same school of thought that Michael Jackson is the greatest entertainer of all time, that some of his songs are the best of all time. So it's really cool to see what a lot of the fans think when it pertains to some of those. And yeah, let's get on into it. Girl, you got to know. We can touch the sky like so, straight out the gate, we have I think this is a very unpopular opinion. Just Good Friends is amazing. Now, if you did not know, Michael Jackson did a duet with Stevie Wonder. It's not his only duet with Stevie Wonder, but the one that was on his album was on the Bad album. It is called Just Good Friends, and a lot of fans don't like it, you guys. I'm not really sure why. I think it's just because, Michael Jackson's a musical genius, Stevie Wonder's a musical genius. And so you would think that the song that they came out with would be like this like crazy amazing song. And I think to some people this song just came off as lackluster. One of the things that I think that makes Stevie Wonder such a great writer and singer artist is like the storytelling behind it and like the visuals that you can get. And it's so crazy to me because actually it's funny. My dad is a big Michael Jackson fan and a Stevie Wonder fan, and he always said that he thought it was so interesting that Stevie Wonder could paint like these beautiful pictures and visuals inside your mind, and meanwhile Stevie Wonder actually cannot see himself. So it's like he's pulling from like his imagination and like his own creativity, these visual moments in time that he's painting these pictures for us in these songs. And I just think that that's beautiful. Same with Michael Jackson, right? He's got that creative mind, the creative mind that came up with Billie Jean and Thriller and like Mjfangirl and Smooth Criminal. And then when you come to Just Good Friends, it's kind of like, the song is cool, but it's not like the best. And so I could totally see where people are coming from with this. Leave your comments down below on what you think about Just Good Friends. I'm going to say, and I'm going to leave a poll for those of you that are listening on Spotify. If you did not know, if you're not listening on Spotify right now and you're watching this on YouTube, we are also on Spotify. If you look up Club 30s with Mjfangirl, I'm going to be putting most of my talking head videos from the Michael Jackson Fan Girl YouTube channel on Spotify so that you guys can listen to it on your commutes, while you're exercising, while you're walking the dog, while you're taking the trash out, cleaning up, doing laundry, whatever, without the issue of having like those YouTube ads in the middle. I thought it'd be a really cool idea to get into some audio. So we're going to be doing that. And I will put a poll down below on what you guys think about Just Good Friends. Do you love it? Do you hate it? I think you can put a poll in Spotify. So I'm going to experiment with that. But yeah, let's get into the next unpopular opinion. Unpopular opinion, the Michael album is very underrated because many fans also hate those 3 songs that are not sung by him, which they have not removed. But the other songs, they're good. Okay, so I have to be honest with you guys. I am not really someone that listens to the Michael album. I kind of like, when I listen to Michael Jackson, I listen to the Jackson 5, listen to his solo stuff from Motown, and go right on through from Off the Wall to Invincible, and I kind of stop there. There are a few select tracks that I do listen to, like I Love Never Felt So Good. That's not from the Michael album. That's from the Escape album. But let me pull up the Michael album right now, because I don't know about that. Like, I actually didn't even buy the album. I think I was gifted the album. Is the album even on streaming anymore? Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, so this album came out in 2010. Now it was 10 songs and now it's back to 7 songs because they took off those songs that were the controversial ones that were not Michael, that all the fans knew were not Michael. Okay, so Hold My Hand with Akon. I'm going to read you guys the songs. Hold My Hand with Akon, Hollywood Tonight, I Like the Way You Love Me, Best of Joy, I Can't Make It Another Day featuring Lenny Kravitz, Behind the Mask, and Much Too Soon. Now, I'm going to tell you straight out the gate, I only really listened to like 2 of those. I like Much Too Soon a lot. Never listened to it really. The only 2 out of here that I listened to is Hold My Hand with Akon and Best of Joy. Like, to me, those are like very classic Michael Jackson songs that I can reconcile them being with Michael Jackson, and I can feel like maybe he would have been okay with those being released. But the other ones, not so much. Like I love Lenny Kravitz, huge like supporter of his music and what he's done for rock and roll and legacy and everything, his legacy and everything. But I'm not into like that Lenny Kravitz song. Like I just don't. It doesn't like resonate with me, and it could be because I don't really like the rock songs as much. But I think it's really because these are done posthumously, and these were basically you know other people's interpretations of what would have been good enough. But we really don't know, right? Because Michael Jackson was a perfectionist. He would write hundreds of songs per album and then decide to only release the best 8 to 10. And so, not 8, but 10 to 12, 15, whatever. So, I say all that to say that I don't know if I agree with this one. I'm going to say I don't agree with it. What do you guys think about the Michael album? I'm not really a fan. And I would be okay, like, if none of those songs ever, I listen to any of those songs ever again. Like, I really don't need them. Let's get into another unpopular opinion. I'm just looking over here at my phone on the community tab. Because this is where you guys left me the questions and the unpopular opinions that you had. Okay, so I think the history tour is better than the bad tour. I cannot agree with that. Okay, if you guys have been here and you're an OG to the Mjfangirl world, you guys know that we used to hold debates. We used to hold debates with like 4 of us in the Michael Jackson fan community. They were moderated by our good friend Randall from Lego Masters. We had a great time, and there was one of those debates where I talked about the history tour, and I was actually assigned to the history tour. So I was someone that like always loved. I've always been a fan of the Dangerous Tour. I'm gonna just be honest with you guys. Dangerous Tour, that's my jam. That's what I like to watch. That's what I grew up on. I grew up in the early '90s, so that was like the show for me to watch. Um, as I got older and I was able to like access the internet and see the bad tour, I was able to watch the bad tour. And of course, I was just like, this is amazing. I don't know anything else that could top the bad tour. Michael was like at the top of his game. He was singing live, he was dancing, he was sweating up a storm, he was doing it all. And it was just like a nonstop electrifying show. History Tour was different. Now, History Tour actually he accomplished a lot because he was able, I believe he went to like, was it 6 continents? I think he went to every continent except one. And he went to like a crazy amount of countries. He did an obscene amount of shows. And you have to think, you guys, I think back then, okay, so that was 97. So what? He was almost 40 years old, which is not old, okay? It's not old. I'm not saying that by any means. But for an artist that was touring and performing for decades before that, and then to do this whole tour and to visit as many countries as he did and do as many shows as he did, like, what do you guys expect, But I will say that I don't think it's better than the bad tour by any means. I do think that for what it's worth, it was a great tour for its time. I'm like, I would have never turned down going to see it. But, you have the pre-recorded vocals, which we understand why he had to do because so many shows, versus live vocals with the bad tour. It's like, how can you really compare, right? You also have, I love like just, I don't know, it's just like the energy on the bad tour is it's just so different. I mean, you really, it's hard to compare these tours 10 years apart, right? But you also have the music. And I personally really loved um I really loved the music and the songs that were featured on the Bad Tour compared to the Dangerous Tour. Like, I know that sounds weird because a lot of them overlap, but I'm a huge fan of like that Jackson's show, the Jackson's Victory Tour as well as the Triumph Tour. And Michael kind of like grandfathered a lot of those songs in and performed those with his background dancers. Songs like Lovely One, um, the way he did Rock With You and Want to Be Starting Something, they were reminiscent of the way that he did them back with his brother. So I really personally like that. So I can't agree with this. I can't agree with this. Now, I will tell you who does agree with this, and that's my husband. He loves the History Tour. I don't know if he would think that it's better than the Bad Tour, but definitely he loves the History Tour. And I think that it's because we have like the most HD footage of it. We have the most versions of the concert, right? Like you could pull up like easily on YouTube 30 different history tour shows or more. Whereas like with the Bad Tour, we mainly have like two or three different cities that are actually in good watchable quality. So yeah, I'm gonna say I disagree with that one, but I get where you're coming from. The Dangerous album is Michael's visually best looking out of his discography. I agree with that. And I don't think it's unpopular. Like, what do you guys think? I think that this is like the most iconic album cover. Well, no, the most iconic album covers really are like Thriller and Bad and Off the Wall. Oh man. But the visually best looking, I mean, is Dangerous, right? Because it's actually a work of art and it has like all that, all the intricacies and all the detail and all the meaning behind it. But I mean, if you think of iconic, you just like when it comes to iconic covers, you think of Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad, like just Michael in front of that plain background, whether it's the brick background with the Off the Wall and the tuxedo versus the white suit for Thriller. Excuse me, versus the bad leather jacket and the pose. Like, yes, it's just everything. And I just feel like those are the most iconic. But yes, Dangerous is the most visually, I think, appealing and best looking and interesting. But on that note, I want to ask you guys this. What was up with the Off the Wall album cover? And they switched it. Like, remember Michael had like a different, it was an original album cover, which I'm going to put on the screen. And then there was another album cover that they like redid in the late 80s. It looked like it was, or late 70s, excuse me. It looked like it was redone and like, or maybe it was the 80s. I don't know. It looked like two different looks, okay? Michael had the fro, and then they switched the photo out to him with almost like the same look that he had in the Don't Stop Till You Get Enough music video, which is fine, but I'm waiting for another fan or some type of archivist to tell me what the story was behind that. I personally love both, you know, I love both, but the first one is so iconic. The first one is just everything to me. It's just everything. So, anyway, on to the next opinion. Invincible is one of, if not the greatest albums of all time. I said what I said. Okay, tell us how you really feel. I don't know if I can agree with it being one of the best of all time. Now, I will say that I do think it is an amazing album. I think it fits right on in with a lot of the other amazing albums that we have from Michael. It's different, right? It's different in that I feel like this was the album that sounds the most like the era in which it was produced. Like all of those like digital sounds and some of the effects that were used, they remind me of like the early 2000s, I'm not gonna lie. So I think some of the songs, like the faster songs especially, like the Invincible, Unbreakable, Heartbreaker, like those sound kind of dated when I look back. But then you have some bangers on there that sound like they could have been made yesterday, like most of Michael Jackson's songs that are timeless. You Rock My World, Break of Dawn, Heaven Can Wait, Butterflies. It's just every album is going to have, the A sides, the main songs, and then you're going to have like your B sides, your ones that maybe not everyone is super into, but they sound great regardless. And so I'm going to say that I disagree with that. Like, no, I think it's definitely unpopular. And I don't think it's one of the best albums of all time. But I do think, like, it's Michael Jackson. So it's one of the best albums of all time, like, because it's Michael Jackson, but not because of the album. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's get into another unpopular opinion. I never really liked Black or White. Something about the beat of it. You know what? I will say that that is a song that I never really, I mean, I grew up liking it, right? Because it was like, it was cool, it was fun, the music video was cool. But I really started to appreciate it later on in life. And specifically when I went to MJ1 and I saw them, well, I won't say when they use it, but the usage of the song in that show in Las Vegas made me feel like, oh my gosh, such joy. Like it was such like a joyful and happy moment, and I really loved how it brought the show together in the moment that they used it. So I'm gonna say I disagree with this one. I like Black or White. But I mean, hey, to each his own. To each her own. Shout out to you, girl. You know who asked. If you're watching this, you know who you are. 30th anniversary is super underrated. Yes. Okay. Yes, I agree. Number one, I went to see the 30th anniversary in person. I actually was there. I saw Michael Jackson live on September 10th, 2001. If you did not know, the 30th anniversary was celebrating Michael Jackson's 30 years as a solo artist, and they started by counting it from 71. I believe that was the I think the year in which he released his first single or first solo album. And so that's how they were counting it. And a lot of celebrities and other singers came together to pay tribute to him, and they would sing his songs, some of their own songs. And then towards the end of the concert, it was really a big deal because the Jacksons kind of came back together, right? The six Jackson brothers were on stage together, and I believe that was actually the last time they were all on stage together performing. And then Michael Jackson did a solo set. I think it's underrated, but I will say that I really love the Jackson set more than I love the Michael Jackson solo set. I think both are worth a watch. They mean a lot to me. They mean a lot to a lot of people because that was really the last time that the Jacksons were on stage performing together. They put on an amazing show. And I just feel so lucky and so blessed to have been there. I was 14 years old. I remember it was my third day of high school, and I woke up and went to school the next day, and then sadly the next day was September 11th. So, um, the world changed for sure after that. And so, yeah, I feel as though also, I think whatever opportunities might have come up after the show maybe didn't happen because of the fact that 9/11 was there and the world just stopped. So we really don't know what would have happened after the 30th anniversary. Would there have been a tour? Who knows? But I think it was a good show. I agree with you. All right, let's get into this next unpopular opinion. One Glove Entertainment, who I have to take a time to shout you out, One Glove Entertainment. You're amazing. He actually is a tribute artist, Michael Jackson tribute artist. He performed at our wedding in 2021. It was a total surprise to me, so that was awesome. If you need to, you can check that video out if you have not seen it. If you just type in Mjfangirl Wedding on YouTube, you can check it out. It was just such an amazing and fun moment, and our families just loved the show that he put on. He actually just joined Invincible, a glorious tribute to Michael Jackson show, and toured Australia. He is like a freaking amazing artist, and I just wanted to give him a shout out. He also left this unpopular opinion. Early solo albums are beyond underrated and appreciated. Yes, like come on. I actually started pulling up some information here. So the first solo album that I'm assuming he's talking about has Got to Be There. This actually came out in 1972. The first single came out in 71. The actual song Got to Be There, I believe. Yeah, it came out in 71. Some of the other singles that are notable from this album are Rockin' Robin, I Want to Be Where You Are, Ain't No Sunshine, which is originally a Bill Withers song. Maria, You Weren't the Only One. Love Is Here, Now You're Gone. And You've Got a Friend. He recorded that Carole King song. And I just think that yeah, a lot of the solo albums are like unappreciated. I also think there's like a misconception that a lot of these solo Michael Jackson songs from the Motown era are actually Jackson 5 songs, which they're not. Not that it matters, but like just for like factual purposes, I think a lot of people just don't realize that these are not Jackson 5 songs and that they're in fact solo ones. And it's funny because I actually myself didn't realize that um, the I Want to Be Where You Are for the longest time. I had no idea that that was a Michael Jackson song and not a Jackson 5 song. Uh, and so let's take a look at some of the other albums because yeah, they are unappreciated. Got to Be There came out in 1972. Also in 1972, 8 months later, okay, Ben comes out. Music and Me, and then Forever Michael. Music and Me came out in 1973, and Forever Michael came out in 1975, and that was the last one on Motown. I believe that they had already signed their contract to move on to Epic Records. But I want to take a look at Music and Me because out of all of these albums, I think that this is my favorite. Some of the tracks on here, most notably With a Child's Heart, Happy, and Music and Me. Music and Me is just one of those songs that I think every Michael Jackson fan loves, right? Especially when you think back to moments like The Legend Continues. If you guys have not seen that documentary, you definitely need to watch that on YouTube. That's an original documentary from the 80s. Really, really good and very nostalgic. Like my parents tell me all the time that I used to pop that tape in and play it out. Like play it, play it, play it until it could not be played anymore. Like I just would keep going with that. And it was just such an awesome album. Excuse me, it was such an awesome song and has a lot of meaning. And so that was my favorite. But yeah, I think that yeah, I agree. They're very underrated, and I just think it's because like Michael Jackson really became the Michael Jackson we know, the king of pop that we know and love today with that trifecta, right? Those albums, Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. Like that's when he was solidified as, who we know today as Michael Jackson. And I think yeah, I'm hoping that this upcoming movie, the biopic, will not only shed some light on who Michael Jackson was as a young artist, as a part of the Jackson 5, and as a solo artist, a young artist on his own. I would love I would love for like the general public to really dig deep into those crates and start to explore that music of Michael Jackson, the young artist, because it all contributes, and this was all a part of Michael Jackson's story, and they all contributed to the development of Michael Jackson, the solo artist, as we know him today. So that's my thoughts on that. All right, last unpopular opinion here. MJ's song Lisa It's Your Birthday for The Simpsons is an absolutely great song and I wish it was longer and on an album. That is an unpopular opinion. I actually have never heard that. And I'm going to say that I don't know if I think it should have been on an album, but I do want to say what it really could have fit well on. You know how in the 90s and even into the 2000s, people had like those, it was almost like I guess they call them interludes. Now I'm remembering. I'm like, what's the name for them? Interludes, where they had like a little bit of storytelling or something before the song actually came on to kind of link two songs together or to lead up into a new song. Like, I feel like, wouldn't it have been cool to have interludes on Michael Jackson albums? We didn't have that. I know Janet used to do a lot of them. I miss that. Like that was just such a cool time in music when people would have like the little stories or whatever in the background, like the little skits or whatever. I enjoyed that. I maybe it was like a hip hop and R&B thing, but I do think that a lot of artists used to do it. And so, yeah, I don't know about if I think it should have been on an album, but I do think it's a super cute song. Lisa, It's Your Birthday. Super cute. All right, let's get into a this or that. I'm going to do this segment because I think it's always a challenge to decide what you like from Michael Jackson compared to other things, like how do you decide? And it's very hard to decide. So I thought it'd be really fun to do this or that. This is going to be a segment that I'm going to be incorporating a lot more into the channel and also into our audio version over on Spotify. Again, if you are not there, listening to us on Spotify right now, get over there and follow us and give us a like and a follow because we are going to be uploading some um, audio only podcast episodes as well. I am actually really excited because I've never really been into like the whole audio thing. I was always afraid of like, okay, but what if I'm just blabbing on and no one wants to hear from me? But I've noticed that in the last couple months on my YouTube channel that a lot of the videos where I'm just chatting and reacting to news and talking about my opinion, you guys seem to like and they've been doing really well. So I wanted to just take the time out to chat a little bit more and to take some of the conversations offline. You know, this new platform that I'm exploring, Spotify, is going to be something that I think I also can dedicate a little bit more time to than I had in the past, just because it is audio only and it takes a while for me to be able to get on video. Even you guys see right now, like my usual typical setup. If you're watching this, you can see my typical setup is in disarray right now. I really have to kind of revamp my setup, and so this is why I'm just sitting here at my desk in a corner. Um, but I say all that to say, getting into the audio really has me excited for some new conversations that we can get into. I'm going to be bringing on some of our very favorite guests that have been on the channel, and you guys, I'm sure, can guess who. I am hoping to bring on some other folks that I've never gotten a chance to get into some topics about the biopic, about their fandom, about fan experiences. And Club 30s is really just going to be about us, you guys. It's about the fan community and like having those fun conversations, the debates that we've had. Like there was so much interaction, so much passion behind it. And for me, Michael Jackson has brought me a sense of community. And so that's what I want to help to bring to the community through Club 30s. And I think we can have lots more fun conversations on that end. So make sure that you're following on Spotify. Right now, it's only on Spotify. Maybe I can take it to some other platforms like Apple Podcasts or whatever later on. Let me know if there are other venues or avenues, platforms in which you listen to audio. I'm not going to put it on YouTube beyond like this video, you know what I mean? But if there's like another platform that you listen to podcasts on besides Apple Podcasts, because I know like everybody usually does either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, but if there's another one, let me know and I can explore. Hopefully, I can stay consistent with this, you guys, and I'll be posting lots of conversations. So, without further ado, let's get into the this or that of the day. Okay, so for today's this or that, Thriller 40 versus Thriller 25. This is actually a question that I have never gotten before, and I'm really excited to answer it. And I think I can say hands down, I prefer Thriller 40. I just never really understood Thriller 25. Like, it wasn't that exciting to me. I do think that Michael was involved because I know that he re recorded some of the vocals for some of the remixes. There were like the Fergie remixes, the Kanye remixes, but I didn't like any of it. Like, I just didn't understand what the point was. Thriller 40, I think, although the rollout left much to be desired in terms of like just the plan for it, I think I really did enjoy like having some of the new songs that they had on there. And yeah, I think I enjoyed it more. I enjoyed going to get the album and looking for the vinyl and all that. Let me just pull up the Thriller 40 information again. You know, we also had the documentary for it, which came out much later, but that was kind of cool as like it if it would have been like kind of packaged together, even though I wasn't like crazy about the documentary, but it still would have been really fun. So yeah, they had the original tracks, but they had the bonus material, which was cool. Of course, they had Got the Hots, which is my jam. Who Do You Know, Starlight, Can't Get Out of the Rain, Sunset Driver, The Toy, What a Lovely Way to Go and She's Trouble. Yeah, I mean that was a lot of fun. They had some other remixes on here. But I think Thriller 40 was definitely the superior project. According to Wikipedia, this was the sixth reissue. No, excuse me. No, sorry. I'm wrong. This is the third reissue of Thriller. So they reissued it in 2001, which that was the superb and supreme reissue. The special editions were the most amazing reissues because they actually gave us content. Like, tell us the stories behind the songs. Tell us about the creative process. Like, they actually interviewed people that were related to the creation of those albums. And to me, there's nothing better than that. So, yeah, but if you go back to Thriller 25, yeah, you had those two different album covers which were cool. I believe I have the one just the very the basic, the original. Um but with the gold lining, that was kind of cool though. Um but yeah, they had all these remixes like the Billie Jean 2008 with Kanye, not a fan. Beat It with Fergie, not a fan. Want to Be Starting Something remix, not a fan. Pretty Young Thing 2008 with will.i.am, not a fan. The Girl Is Mine 2008, not a fan. Like, I wasn't into it. And that doesn't mean that it wasn't good. It just wasn't for me, you guys. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed our unpopular opinions discussion today. I look forward to doing some more videos. As always, definitely leave your comments and suggestions, questions, advice, everything down below. I love to read the comment section and engage with you guys. And until next time, follow me on Instagram. I can be found on Facebook, Twitter, now called X, and Instagram. My handle is at Mjfangirl You can also find me on mjfangirl.com. That's our website. Here on YouTube, MJ Fangirl TV, and last but not least on Spotify, Club 30s with MJ Fangirl. Talk to you guys next time. Bye bye.